Okay, I thought I might make a video on the back garden and share with you what has been happening in the last 12 months. Initially I bought these GPR pipe and had them cut to about 600 mil high, and they were roughly around 1 metre to 1.4 metres in diameter, and filled them up with soil, and now I have my citruses in them. This one is a mandarin, an emperor. I have a second mandarin here giving fruit. I may change it to a different variety eventually, but at this stage it's doing really well amongst all the marigolds. Over here, a Eureka lemon, and that's doing pretty well as well. Going towards the back steps, I have a Lisbon miniature, and what I've done there is I've planted some Russian giant sunflowers with the marigolds, and just trying to keep the soil active by having more than one type of plant growing. And this is very similar over here. This one is a lemon and doing reasonably well. Moving on to the apple trees. Now this is a Crispy Crunch. I haven't grafted this one because it's a miniature, and I quite like the Crispy Crunch, and it's growing reasonably well. The birds are getting to it at the moment, but I'm not too fussed about that at this stage. Just trying to get the shape of the tree going, and may graft it next winter. So as you're walking down, I've got an aisle of or a row of apple trees that are now all multi-grafted. This one has got Snow Apple, Granny Smith, Pink Lady. So I will continue to graft different varieties on the stems that are, or the branches that are not being grafted yet, and see how that pans out. This one over here, you can see that there's two grafts on that one. On this one I'm not too sure, but I think it has oh look, I can't remember. This one I grafted 3 old world types of apple trees, and every graft, as you can see, is taken, and the grafts themselves are quite vigorous and growing really well. Now this is an old world apple tree now. I got the cuttings from our community garden here in Ballarat, and the old timers there said that these apples are one of the best that they have. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they provide. Over here, 2 types of apple trees on this one too. You can see the graft over here, and I think this one was from graft from last year, but again I made the mistake of not clearly defining what each one is, and I have to rely on when the trees actually give the apples to see what type of apples they provide. Over here I have this whole stem on this left hand side that is being prepared for grafting next winter, and on the right hand side I have again an apple. I can see the tag is a Peas Good apple, and what's on the other side? And a snow apple. So a snow apple and a Peas Good apple, and this side here is let me look, is a Granny Smith. Now this side here I will be probably putting another type of variety here, and maybe one here and one there as well. next winter. Over here it's a yellow golden delicious, and I think I grafted a crispy crunch on that as well, but at this stage the crispy crunch is from here up, and these ones down below are the golden delicious. I have an apple tree again in one of these GPR pipe, very similar to my fruit forest garden in the enclosed area. It's now fully enclosed, keeping the parrots out. Unfortunately, the smaller birds like the sparrows and the blackbirds still get through. Not easily, the blackbirds, but they still get through. So probably I'll probably still put bird netting from the inside as a curtain during the fruiting season next year. Over here I have a quince. I don't know how well it will grow amongst these poplar trees that I have here, but it seems to be doing okay. I have my plum trees, which this is a black amber plum. This whole row here with the palm trees and the agapanthus have basically got all my plum trees, but they're quite small still, and I guess next year you'll get to see them a bit better. Over here is my row of espaliated apple trees. They're predominantly at this stage Pink Lady, Granny Smith, Pink Lady, Granny Smith, Pink Lady, Granny Smith. I have them in these pipes as well, but I'm thinking next winter I may remove them and put them straight into the ground. Initially I put them into these pipes because I had a bit of a water issue down here where it sort of was quite a damp area, but realised that there was a burst, or not a burst, main pipe from the front of the property on the where the road is, and I was getting a lot of water runoff down here, and it remains soggy, but they fixed that up, the council, and now this area is not as wet as it used to be. So I'm guessing that'd be a good idea to bring them down, and then that top layer up there will come out to the middle, and I can then increase the height to the second, third rung. So again, the apples aren't that big this year, but the plan is that to keep the birds off from the top of that post, I'll put another line of wire fed through probably some hose or some sort of irrigation pipe, and then that will allow me to put bird netting over the apple trees, front and back, to keep, I suppose, the birds out primarily, but also the codling moth. I think that was a problem last year, but this year I did use some natural spray, and I can see that there was no codling moth problem this year at all, so I'll probably utilise that again next year. But as you can see, the parrots do like the apples, so as they get bigger and produce more, I will make sure that I provide the netting. But I'm pretty pleased that the codling moth didn't take hold like it did last year. It was prolific last year, and not one apple was spared. Okay, so over here, we go back over here to the centre, and I have two types of fig. I think it's a brown turkey. No, it's yeah, but it could be a brown turkey, and a Preston prolific. They're just starting to give. I planted some apricot trees in this circle here, so this is sort of the apricot circle, I call it, and in its first year the apricots have probably doubled in size. They're all different varieties. I do have the tags on them, but right now I can't remember what they are. Date palm, and then this is the third new apricot that I've got in. I probably will prune it down quite a bit just before winter, so it will then end up like this one, which is a year older and doing really well. As we go along here, I created where the pear trees are, nashi fruit, and another pear tree. I have tags, as you can see. This is a Corella pear tree, and I did have a little bit of cherry slug, I think it was, that was on it, and I used some Natural Remedy olive oil and dishwashing liquid diluted in water, and that seemed to do the trick, and they're all gone. Over here I have pomegranates that are left to form hedging or bushes, and they're doing really well. If I walk along the fence line, I have more pomegranates that sort of basically go as far as the eye can see. Now initially I thought of exfoliating these, but I quite like how they're sort of hedged out into bushes. And over here, as we walk back into the centre of the garden, I've put in an almond tree, and again this is its first year, and it's basically doubled in size, or maybe even tripled in size. What do I do with the parrots? Well, that's something for later on. And finally, back over here, we have the nectarine, the pomegranate tree as well. Now along the side here I have another olive tree, but I planted my corn around it, and that seemed to be doing really well. The olive seems to quite like having companion planting around it. It keeps the soil pretty moist as well by having more than one trunk in that area. Another date palm over here. Over here I had this Lisbon lemon, and I thought I lost it because it was in the ground and it got some collar rot, as you can see. But ever since putting it into the into the pot, I've saved it, and it has a fair amount of bark that allows it to survive, and it gives a lot of fruit. Over here is my feijoa plants, and I think there's probably about 20 feijoa bushes all the way up to the front. And just to break it up a little bit, I quite like the apple tree, so I'll put another apple. Every 2 feijoas I planted another apple tree, and again the plan is like this one, to graft as many varieties as I can. This one has 3 varieties on it, and I have tagged them. Again, this is a Peas Good and Pink Lady, and I think there's another variety on there, but I can't remember. Over here you can see it's starting to give some apples. It has one different variety, as you can see right here, but pretty much it is a Pink Lady, I'm guessing. No, it's oh, that's strange. It says it's a Granny Smith, but they don't look like Granny Smiths to me, so I reckon that's more like a Pink Lady than a Granny Smith. This one over here, this one is a Pink Lady, but also has another graft in amongst it, and that graft is a, oh, what's that say? Can't see. It says a beauty of Stoke apple. At least that's an old world. I did lose this Feijoa while I was away last month, but I suppose I've got plenty of those. Another apple. This has been grafted. This has got a Jonathan on it. I'm guessing it's a Jonathan and a Granny Smith. Over here, I grafted another one here again. It's sort of taken off. Bit. And this one, well, I'll put a Nashi pear on this, on an apple tree. Seems to be doing all right, but from what I've been told, that Nashis and pears don't take well to apple trees. So we'll see how that pans out. Crispy Crunch. This one here, I forget what it was called. I can't see. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, date palms, and then a row of olives.